Hey, crypto family. So we're going to give it a couple minutes before we start this live stream, but expect us to go over some technical analysis, the recent Bitcoin altcoin pump, kind of what we're thinking if it's sustainable, and then cover some news articles and take some questions from you guys. So with that, we'll go ahead and give it a couple minutes and wait for everyone to get in. Alrighty, with that, let's go ahead and get started. So let me just pull up the chat real quick. Hey, Camus, how's it going, man? Skylord, good to have you here. Glad y'all could make it. So it's gonna be a good stream today. First, let's go ahead and get started. So basically looking at the market right now, we can see Bitcoin is up 0.25% to $41,600. Ethereum's kind of stagnant around that $3,000 level. And then most other altcoins are kind of up or down a couple percent. So it's good that a lot of them are holding their value. And that's one of the things you want to see whenever you have this pump, right? You want to see some coins holding their value and not immediately dumping. So we're actually going to cover some of this and actually some altcoins I'm looking at as well. Game Coke, hey, good to have you too, man. Young T, glad you're in here. Young T is actually one of our moderators in the Discord, and he's a moderator in the chat here. So definitely show him some love. He's definitely putting in a lot of hard work and putting in a lot of good info in the Discord. So if you're not joining the Discord, definitely do that. It's pinned in the description. So definitely going to be a good time there. But basically going over some technical analysis. So let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin real quick. So there's a couple different scenarios right now that I'm looking at. So on the daily right now, you can see Bitcoin is in this descending wedge, right? It broke out, and immediately when it broke out, it printed a $4,000 candle, which is insane, right? Like a couple of years ago, $4,000 candle for Bitcoin in one day would be hard to think about. But it broke that. It broke resistance as well at 40,600. And then since then, it has maintained above that support. And that is actually very, very bullish. I'm going to go over some conflicting arguments for both, but right now it's good to see we're holding above it. So if Bitcoin does decline from here, I'm looking for it to hold that support at 40,600. The RSI still has plenty of room to run to the upside. It's not overbought by any means. It's around 29 on the daily, so that's very bullish. And then there's also another argument for a inverse head and shoulders. So right now, you can see we do have that left shoulder and then the bottom head, right? And then right now, if we continue the right shoulder, then you can see what would happen. We'd climb up a little bit and basically descend back down and then retest the support at 46,100, okay? So that's a scenario. The other scenario, if there's a couple people talking about a BART. Now, if people don't know what a BART is, basically Bart Simpson, his head kind of looks, up, and then you have a little consolidation, and then it goes back down, right? It's kind of what his head looks like, or you have the reversal, and then it goes up, right? So right now, people are thinking Bitcoin's going to go sideways and then basically tank back down. So one argument for that is because we did rise so fast, right? There wasn't much support consolidation here, so that's that could happen. So if that does happen, I'm looking for Bitcoin to retest this previous resistance turn support now from this descending wedge, bounce at around 33,000, and then actually have that double bottom and then rocket all the way up to this 46,000 level, okay? That is definitely, so these two scenarios I'm looking at, okay? So if Bitcoin breaks this support, I'm looking for it to continue downward, down to about 33,000. If it holds this support, I'm looking forward to complete this inverse head and shoulders and then rocket up to 46,000. So these are two scenarios. Again, this big support level, this 40,600, definitely one I'm looking at and going to keep an eye on for that. So definitely if you have questions about that, definitely ask me there. And Game Coke says, I'm also in the Discord, love the calls. Hey, appreciate it, man. The Discord, we provide a lot of good calls in there, altcoin picks, and I try to do my research, provide the best coin picks I can based off a lot of different variables. But we also have like a free section for our free members as well, and the altcoin picks have been doing very well for them as well. So definitely go and join us there. It's a good time, and we do a lot of charting analysis and everything in between. And then looking at the S&P 500, so I always like to look at the traditional stock markets because it kind of is an indication of what's going to happen in the crypto markets. They're not always correlated one-to-one. Recently, they did kind of an inverse correlation where Bitcoin pumped and the stock markets dumped. But for the most part, they are about 80 to 90% correlated. So looking at the stock market right now, the S&P, you can see it's in this downward trend, and it did bounce off of this resistance about 45.30, and it has rejected it, okay? And that coincides with the RSI rejecting as well on the daily. Now, the only bullish case we have for the S&P is this MACD that is crossing to the upside, so definitely something to keep in mind there. But right now, we are still looking at a downtrend. We do have some heavy resistance, horizontal and trend lines, so if S&P breaks that 45.40 level, again, I'll be very bullish on it. But until then, expecting for it to consolidate in this downtrend and continue downward from there. So that's definitely something I'm looking at and something to keep in mind for that. The next support level for the S&P is going to be about 4,300. So if you're looking for a long, potentially 4,300 could be good because we could have a double bottom actually from there, and actually then looking for it to break that resistance, which at the time would be around 44.10. So, or this RSI resistance here. So either way, looking forward to break these resistance points. But until then, I will remain bearish on the S&P. Next, let's go over Ethereum. So Ethereum, basically on the hourly here, we can see there was an ascending triangle. It broke out of the ascending triangle, it retested support. Now you can see it actually dipped below support of that ascending triangle, but it performed a double bottom, and from there rocketed over that support, retested it, or resistance, retested it as support, and then broke out from there. So Ethereum has been doing amazing. It has been holding actually around this $3,000 level, which is definitely good to see. Okay, that's what you want to see whenever you have breakouts like this, because a lot of times you'll have the breakouts and then it'll kind of consolidate for maybe a couple hours or one day, and then it'll just go back down, right? So right now with Ethereum, we've seen it broke out and it's just been actually consolidating for longer than usual. So that does mean, okay, there may be some good support around this level. Now, that $3,000 level, we already know that this is good support / resistance for Ethereum, okay? It's a big psychological level, which a lot of people have mentioned before. So if Ethereum can hold this $3,000 level, I can definitely see us breaking above this 30.55 resistance. Now, this 30.55 resistance actually comes from the daily here, so I'll go ahead and show you what I mean. So basically on this resistance, I drew that is an important level because around August 27th, we did bounce from it. And then there is a lot of consolidation. And basically, really, most importantly, is January 10th, okay, when it did bounce off this resistance 4 days in a row. Okay, so this is definitely something to look out for. And, watching for it if we can break above it. Again, it's very bullish. My next short-term target would be 33.75 for Ethereum up here. So that's something I'm looking at closely, but you can see, Ethereum has played out so nicely on this pattern that we had. And again, a bearish argument for Ethereum is we continue downward. And again, talking about that BART pattern, right? If we continue back downward, then we could bounce off of this horizontal support / trendline support around that 28.50 level. And then from there, bounce off and retest this 3,050 as resistance. And then if we break above it, again, looking for that 33.75. If not, retesting that 28.50. So hopefully that helps y'all out with some TA for that, but definitely something I'm looking at right now for both coins. But after these news articles, I'll actually talk about some altcoins that I'm bullish on, and then actually go more in depth and actually go with the chat as well. that any altcoins or TA that y'all want me to cover, definitely let me know there. So first article I want to cover is about a CNBC article about the Bitcoin family that I'm sure you've heard. This family actually sold their house and sold most of their earnings for Bitcoin. And I believe they did this, it was either in 2017, I believe it was in 2017 or 2016. But they basically sold it. A lot of people were kind of chastising them and saying, why'd you do that? You're putting your family in harm, right? Because this guy here, he's like the big proponent. The husband is a big proponent of Bitcoin. And basically they sold all their earnings and they invested in Bitcoin. But recently, Bitcoin's done pretty good, right? When it went above 60,000. So this family is doing very well. They have a lot of endorsements as well. And basically they're a huge proponent of it. And also something else, it says, the Bitcoin family immigrates to Portugal for its 0% tax on cryptocurrencies. So that's definitely something as well, right? Portugal is a big cryptocurrency safe haven because, again, 0% tax on crypto, that is insane. That is going to create a ton of adoption, and two, I don't want to say tourism, but basically people want to go and see what Portugal's all about. If you have 0% on taxes, potentially thinking about moving there, I mean, that's definitely a good incentive if you're holding millions in crypto, right? So that's definitely some good money that you could make or save from that. And it says, Didi Tehidu, patriarch of the so-called Bitcoin family, is settling down roots in Portugal, Europe's ultimate crypto tax haven. The Dutch family of five that has spent the last 5 years traveling to 40 different countries. The Tehidus chose Portugal for its advantageous crypto tax rules, which include a 0% tax on Bitcoin. And it says, quote, you don't pay any capital gains tax or anything else in Portugal on cryptocurrency. As long as you don't earn cryptocurrency for providing services in Portugal, you're in the clear. So that's amazing. And basically he's saying, okay, as long as you're doing your own thing, right, you're not providing any services, then you won't get taxed. And he says it's a very beautiful Bitcoin haven. And yeah, it was in 2017 actually when they liquidated all their assets and they actually invested in Bitcoin. So, and Bitcoin was around 900 at the time, and then it went to 69,000 in November. So you can imagine they're doing very, very well. And then real quick, looking at the comments, Young T says it's holding pretty well in the ETH BTC pair 2, good strength. So I think, Young T's talking about Ethereum for the TA I was doing. So definitely good to see there for Ethereum holding. And he says Portugal and Netherlands are the crypto heavens of EU, definitely. So yeah, Young T's definitely familiar with that. I believe he lives in the eastern parts there. So it's good to see that, one of the natives definitely can back me up here on Portugal being one of the safe havens. And also, guys, if y'all can like the video as well, just a quick side note, I really appreciate it. Helps grow the channel, trying to help everyone out as much as I can with these live streams. But going over the next, it says, well, Tehidu contingent won't disclose the exact size of their crypto nest egg. The 43-year-old father of three says he safeguards the family's crypto fortune in secret vaults on 4 different continents. So presumably, their crypto stake is substantial enough to make it worth having to fly across the globe to redeem their decentralized cash. Now, this is something I want to harp on for you guys. For any of you guys who keep all of your crypto on an exchange, definitely don't do that, right? Spread your crypto out, diversify. Even if it's a little bit on an exchange for quick access, you want to have multiple decentralized wallets. You want to have cold storage wallet. You want to have, basically as many different places to hold your crypto as you can, because you've seen with these recent hacks that it's so easy for your crypto to get stolen, to get hacked, for your money to get stolen. Again, never put all your investment in one crypto. Never put it in an all-in-one farm, because again, these farms can get hacked. Your money can get stolen. So good on him for keeping his crypto in 4 different countries. That's amazing. So definitely do that, guys. I recommend, again, spreading out your crypto. It's a smart thing to do. And then it says, with that kind of crypto stake, the tax perks in Portugal are certainly a big draw, though it doesn't hurt the country's offers a safe and pleasant way of life in 2021. The country ranked 4th on the Global Peace Index, and it tops a list of best countries for expats. So you definitely can see a reason why, right? Everyone's happy. They don't have to pay taxes on crypto. It says the Bitcoin family isn't alone in making the move to Iberian Peninsula. The 2021 population census in Portugal shows that the number of foreign residents in Portugal increased by 40% in the last decade. And I can definitely see this number increasing in the future because there's been a lot of crypto millionaires in the last 2 years, especially with the recent pumps that we had in 2020 and 2021. So I could definitely see this number increasing. And it says, Tehidu's siblings may also make the move. Didi's brother and sister are selling their houses and investing that cash into Bitcoin. So this is pretty crazy, right? This guy's brother and sister are selling their house. Now again, Bitcoin's at around $41,000. So right now, again, is it the best time? Maybe not. But again, if you're looking at Bitcoin as a long-term investment, hedge against inflation, then maybe it's not so bad. So just looking at really here, skimming the article, and it says the only exception to the country's generous crypto scheme relates to companies registered in Portugal that deal in crypto. These businesses face some taxes under certain circumstances. It says if you earn cryptocurrency by providing services in Portugal, you need to pay tax on those cryptocurrencies, but I don't earn anything at the moment in Portugal, so for me it's 0% tax. So cool on there. You see a little Bitcoin Land Rover, so very cool on them, good for them, and glad they're doing good on that. So pretty cool stuff. Again, just want to give a good, different basically look on crypto, and kind of people are really living off of Bitcoin and these investments. So it's great to see crypto making a difference here. And again, with a lot of people flowing to Portugal, that's definitely something good to see. So next, let's go ahead and look at our next article by CoinDesk. Now this one says the corporate argument for Bitcoin. It says MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor likened his company's performance to rowing a boat against wind, blowing harder than one can row. Is Bitcoin really the way out? So, as you know, MicroStrategy, they actually purchased a lot of Bitcoin, $25 million worth in January. And Michael Saylor, who's the CEO, he joined the crypto podcast Up Only, which is a podcast with Kobe. He's one of the biggest influencers with crypto and Ledger. They both have, hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter. And he says to reveal the backstory of his company's move to accumulate 125,051 Bitcoin in 2020 and 2021. So Michael Saylor's been a big proponent of Bitcoin. He's kind of like the Andrei Antonopoulos of our time, if you will. He's been really in the forefront, and he's really trying to advocate why Bitcoin is such a good long-term investment. So if y'all haven't seen this live stream on Up Only with Michael Saylor, definitely watch it. He makes me bullish. He makes, if you're not even that bullish, he makes you a Bitcoin maxi basically by listening to that. So a lot of good stuff on there, and a lot of good talk with them as well. And it said, founded in the late 1980s by Saylor, MicroStrategy is a publicly traded business, intelligence, and software provider, but is now better known for the $4.7 billion in Bitcoin it holds on its balance sheet. It says before buying all that Bitcoin, it was already one of the largest independent publicly traded companies in its industry. In 2020, its revenue was nearly $480 million, and it had an inviolable 8.29% EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization margin, in the trailing 12 months before its first Bitcoin purchase. And then basically it goes down, and he says, well, the company was profitable. It wasn't viable to reinvest profits into hiring sprees or increasing market spending. And that's when he decided to invest it in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin basically grew a lot in addition to its stocks, which definitely helped him a lot. And it says on August 11, 2020, MicroStrategy announced the purchase of 21,400 Bitcoins for $250 million, which that in itself is insane to think about. And it shows the conviction that they have for their purchases. It says those who didn't want to stake in a company buying Bitcoin were offered a way to cash out through a $250 million cash tender offer via a modified Dutch auction, which saw around $60 million in redemptions. So you can see right now their performance relative to the market. So basically SPY is in blue and MicroStrategy is in yellow. And you can see how much their performance outpaced the S&P, but since then has actually declined just below it because of the recent decline in crypto. Okay, so you got to be able to look at both sides here. While you are up a lot, crypto is very volatile. So even though you could outperform the S&P for the majority of the time, again, if you don't sell your profits, it could definitely turn to the downside with that. And it says, since its first Bitcoin purchase, MicroStrategy hasn't slowed down. The company has now purchased 0.66% of the entire supply of Bitcoin at an average price of about $30,000. The accumulation included purchases of $57,000, which now appears to be near the top for this cycle. He says, Saylor acknowledged that MicroStrategy has developed a reputation for buying at local tops. If the company's Bitcoin thesis is correct, buying tops will be part of a strategy that could prove to be very profitable in the long run, even if the company takes a short-term hit on earnings. So, as you can see, remember in 2020 when they were buying it, and they bought 21,000 in August 11th, 2020. Well, since then, that basically grew exponentially. So, long-term, if you're bullish on Bitcoin, then the purchases right now will seem to be profitable in the next year or two if Bitcoin continues on its upward trajectory. And it says Saylor appears to be unconcerned with Bitcoin's volatility. His response to the criticism is that you either can die a slow death, facing the blows of a devaluing dollar and soaring stock market, or you can fight. If Bitcoin's price can outpace inflation, it's a good investment as opposed to holding cash. While it may be a long shot, if Bitcoin's adoption becomes widespread in the near term, MicroStrategy will have put itself in a better position than the vast majority of public companies. So definitely cool to see. They're trying to be a leader in this market. They're really trying to be a big proponent of Bitcoin and crypto in general and its long-term fight against inflation, especially as the dollar declines and global currency declines as well. So good to see here and good to see they're really pushing for that, and hope they do well and hope to see Bitcoin perform well over the next few years as well. Now, with that, if anyone has any questions, we're going to go over some altcoins that I've been looking at, and then from there, we're going to take some more questions, again, if anyone has them. So some big altcoins I've been looking at, Syscoin is a big one. Now, Syscoin is up 2% today. It's around 80 cents. A big reason why I'm bullish on Syscoin is they do have a DEX coming out called Pegasus. It's coming out February 16th, and it's one that actually I'm very bullish on, and it's Pegasus DEX. So if y'all don't know what that is, it's a leading AEM protocol on Syscoin. They're coming out February 16th with their launch date. So anyone who knows anything about DEXs and basically the underlying protocol knows that usually you have a pump following it, right? So if Syscoin, I believe it will continue to pump once the DEX comes out, Pegasus, and at least we'll have a day or two of pumping from that. So definitely one I'm looking at. Talos is actually another big one. I called in the Discord. I believe it was around 72 cents, if I can remember correctly. I'll have to look. But yeah, Talos was a big one, and one that is... they're developing their own EVM. They should have their own EVM. They released their own DEX that was called the Charm DEX, and that one has been doing pretty good as well. And here, I'll go ahead and actually show real quick where I called Talos. So let's go ahead and bring this over. So you can see here, again, we called Talos at 71.7 cents, and that was January 17th, so just over 3 weeks ago. And you can see since then, again, it has performed very well, $1.23 now. So over a 50% return for our members. And then also for them, I believe they're continuing to improve on their developments and updates, which is one of the big reasons they've increased over 71% in the past 7 days. So definitely keep an eye on Talos. And then scrolling down, Defrost Finance. This is a big one, and I've been investing in this one. This is a big one. There's some big accounts on Twitter that are very bullish on Defrost Finance, and is a very low market cap right now. If we click, you can see its market cap is only 8.4 million, and you can see it's pumped very nicely today. This is one that is actually tied to AVAX, and is a, if actually we click on their website here, it says Defrost Finance is the platform behind the next generation stablecoin and provides remunerative investment opportunities, a fully fair launch, decentralized project. Its aim is to change the world of finance for good. Okay, so they have basically farming on here as well. It has ties to Curve. You can see here as well, they have different farming opportunities. And basically, there's a lot of big Twitter accounts talking about Defrost Finance, and one that I believe is going to continue to perform well. Again, I bought some here around 280. So it's been doing very well for me, and I definitely think on any dips, if it dips towards that $3 level, definitely good buying opportunity here. I think this coin, if you look at the history, you can see it's actually went to a high of over $21, and you can see we're starting to break out actually from that. So definitely could see some good upward movement. Midterm, there's resistance around that 590 level, and then from there, looking at around $7, and then looking forward to test $10 from there. So definitely something to watch. Again, it's on Dex Screener. If you aren't familiar with Dex Screener, but you can buy it on Trader Joe as well. Again, look for dips on this. Could definitely be a good buying opportunity. Looking at the comments here, so Game Coke says Theta and T-Fuel would be nice because I am deep in them. Yeah, for sure. I'll go ahead and do some TA on those. And Mindful Recording says opinion on Looks, looking to enter on it with their really high APY. Cool. So yeah, I'll go over both of those. So those are some altcoins. And then real quick before I go over those TAs, the other altcoins I'll talk about. Yeah, so just those. So basically, and then Rose is one I've seen actually a lot of big respectable Twitter accounts talk about. Rose having some long-term viability. Again, they're really focused on kind of metaverse. They're working with, they had a partnership with Facebook, and that was kind of a big thing last year. That kind of sent them skyrocketing. But I believe there's some good long-term potential here, so maybe putting in a nice little bag and waiting for a year, or at least waiting for 6 months and seeing where they're at after that. But yeah, Rose, Syscoin, Talos, and Defrost Finance. And then going at my portfolio here on CoinGecko, DeFi Kingdoms is actually one that has been doing very well. Again, this one is a play to earn, right? And it has been actually recovering nicely from around its 750 level. It's kept continually done very well. But Metis is actually a big one I am bullish on, okay? So Metis is one that, again, run by Vitalik's mom. It's an L2 roll-up on the Ethereum network. Vitalik has mentioned it in a couple of his streams. And now there is a big unlock. I believe it's on February 13th, where 25% of the supply is getting unlocked. So expect the price to decline at least 30-40% after that unlock. But I believe on the same day, we are going to see it bounce at least 2 to 3x from those lows. And I'm not exaggerating. There's a ton of people on the sidelines waiting for this unlock, waiting to buy the dip. So I believe Metis has some very good long-term potential. Again, a lot of big Twitter accounts are bullish on it, so definitely keep an eye on that. So yeah, Metis I think is a good hold. I would wait till after the unlock to buy some. But Magic is also one. I mentioned our Discord. It had actually a nice pump a week or two ago, and since then it's kind of had a little downturn, so it could be a good buying opportunity here at 379. It's a big NFT platform on the Arbitrum network. Treasure DAO is actually the name of the NFT platform, but basically it's kind of like OpenSea, but for Arbitrum, and Magic is the Ethereum of the NFT transactions, if you will. So a lot of people thinking that Magic has some long-term viability. Definitely could be a good buy here. Definitely watch out there. And then Tether's Finance is actually done very well. You can see over the past week, it's went up 33%. This is the DEX to Metis, and I believe Net is also a DEX to Metis, but I don't think it's been doing that well. Yeah, so Net, you can see over the past 7 days, hasn't been doing that well. But then you go over and look at Tether's Finance over the past week, and look at that. It's literally the opposite chart, okay? It's going up while Net is going down. So I think Tether's is going to be the winner here for the DEXs on Metis. So if you're bullish on Metis, I'd recommend getting some Tether's as well. It's kind of like a leveraged position, if you will. So if Metis increases, Tether's is going to increase more, and vice versa. And then Aleph Zero, again, is one we've been looking at. And that's one that, again, a lot of big Twitter accounts have been talking about it. I say that a lot. Really, I just look for hype, right? A lot of these coins, it's just hype, getting in early. Now, Aleph Zero, its tokenomics aren't that good. There's a lot of pre-sale. I believe it was 65% coins that were sold during the pre-sale. I believe it was like 3 to 5 cents, some 10 cents. So again, as those unlock, definitely could be some selling pressure on Aleph. So yeah, kind of be worried about this, but I believe they are only listed on one exchange, MEXC, and they are continuously developing, so could be a good long-term hold. But yeah, just be careful with that one. So really, Metis, Tethys, and then maybe a little bit of Magic as well. Those are my coins for that. And then Young T said, don't forget Vitalik's mom for Metis, the real fundamentals. Yeah, exactly, right? So yeah, Metis, Vitalik's mom, the biggest catalyst probably. Cool. So let's go over some charting analysis. So let's go ahead and pull up a new chart here. And let's see, GameCoke said Theta and T-Fuel. So let's go over Theta. Okay, so Theta Token. Real quick, just going to go over some, do a quick daily chart here and put some big support resistance levels, right? So this is actually really good here. So it did have some resistance turn support and actually broke above that, which is nice. And then it had some support here, which actually bounced off of. Its next big resistance point be right there. And then let's see, from there, probably looking about right there. Okay. And I'll do one more. Yeah, I'll say about right there. Okay. So, and then let's draw some trend lines real quick. So we'll draw a little trend line here, right? So that could be something. And then let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I do everything as accurate as I can. Okay, and then right about there. All right. All right, okay, maybe some more or less, probably around like something like that. Okay, so for Theta, I will say very bullish here. This huge resistance that it had around January 9th, it turned support and actually bounced off of that support. So that's good. That's something you want to see, right? Next, this resistance turned support. It actually broke through that resistance now, right? Which, again, is bullish, okay? So that's something you want to see. And let me hurry up and pull up the RSI real quick so we can get another second opinion here. You can see right here, actually, this had bullish divergence, right? So hidden bullish divergence here. So RSI kind of stayed the same, almost like a double bottom, if you will, while the price was declining. So that's always something you want to look for, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just draw that so y'all can see. So you had declining price, but you had the RSI actually stay more or less the same, right? It didn't really increase, didn't really decrease. So that's very, very bullish there. That tells you demand stayed the same, and there's actually buying pressure the same point as there was even though when the price was decreasing. So people are bullish on it, and that's what caused that little bullish reversal there and bounce off of support. Now, just be careful because you can see I drew this trend line here of this daily resistance, this trend line resistance, and we do have horizontal resistance as well, okay? So this is something you want to look out for when you have these two conflicting things, trend line resistance and horizontal resistance. So it's going to be very strong resistance. So I would definitely watch out for this level here, okay? Around that 372 level. Now, right now, Theta is around 340. So again, if it can break this 372 level, that will be very, very bullish because then this resistance will turn to support, right? So definitely look around this 372. If you're looking for potential buy opportunity, maybe wait till it hits 372, rejects, and then revisits this support around $3. And then maybe it's going to break out of this trend line resistance from there, right? So definitely something to keep in mind there. And then, but if it does break this resistance, then again, your next resistance point is going to be at 466. So from 372 to 466, that's not a bad return, over 20% return there. So, and then your next resistance again is going to be this big trend line resistance here, which is going to be, again, it may actually coincide with this double resistance around 470. And then from there, looking at 560. So these are the big levels here. I can see for Theta. Again, the RSI is in the middle right now, so it still has plenty of room to run to the upside if it wants to. Definitely something to watch out for. Now, I mean, you can see here, more or less, right, we do also have this, RSI resistance. So definitely that's going to coincide. So, man, this 372 is going to be very, very strong. So I would definitely recommend waiting. Personally, I would not buy in no man's land where it's at right now. I would either wait for it to retest at $3 or I would wait for it to break this resistance and confirm you get a candle close on the daily of this broken resistance here. So that would be how I'd play it. Hope that helps out for Theta. And I'll actually go ahead and save this chart so we can actually relook at it later in the Discord if you want to. So, yep. Cool. And then I'll go ahead and make a copy here. And we will go over Theta Fuel. So let's see, T-Fuel, yep. All right, so let's go over the daily here, and let's go ahead and put some TA lines on here. So obviously you're gonna have the huge resistance at the top there. Let's go over, again, the support. So you had big support, which was nice, as previous resistance here. And then let's actually, ooh, this is very nice actually. So right there, and let's, yep, right there. And let's do one more. Yeah, it looks about good. Okay, cool. Now let's do some trend lines. So big trend line here I can already see. Probably gonna be around, now again, these trend lines don't have to be perfect, right? So just kind of just winging this here a little bit. But yeah, we'll just say right around, we'll say right around here. We'll draw for that. And then let's see if we can draw any other trend lines. We can technically, if we want to draw this one here as well, I can draw this in a different color so it doesn't get lost. But yeah, that one as well. And then we can do one last one. And it's going to be probably around, call it right. Nah, I don't think that's a good one. Okay, so we'll just have these two trend lines right now. But basically you can see for Theta Fuel, one of the biggest things that I like, again, is these resistances turn to support now. So huge support level for January 25th. It bounced, and actually what I see right here is a inverse head and shoulders on T-Fuel. So you can see the left shoulder, the inverse head, and the right shoulder, okay? So that's bullish. Now, right now, you can see there is strong resistance at this 23-cent level. So again, RSI, again, broke out, and it's starting to get a little overbought though, so be careful, okay? That combined with our resistance here could spell out bad news for a strong resistance. Now, just really quick, trying to look here, you can see that we do have some resistance on the RSI as well, right? So definitely something to keep in mind. I would, again, be cautious. I would wait for either buying T-Fuel around the 16-cent level if it retests it, or if it breaks, I would say if it breaks this 23-cent level and closes above it, that could be temporary bullish. Again, we do have some resistance lines around here from this 25 to 20, call it 30-cent level actually. So again, keep that in mind. Now they're kind of wonky trend lines, okay? They're not as strong. I would say the stronger one's gonna be this blue line here at around this 30-cent level. So again, if it does break this 23-cent level and closes above it, definitely could have a ride to 30 cents, which is again a 25% return, so not too bad at all. So that's what I'm seeing. Again, its resistance, or its next support is gonna be around 16 cents, and then following that, gonna be around that 12-cent level. So hopefully this helps you out. Game code for Theta and T-Fuel. Again, 2 lines here if you want to take a screenshot or something. But again, I will share these in the Discord if you need me to for that. Now, next, let's go over the next coin. I believe it was Mindful Recordings. He said opinion on looks. So, opinion on looks. Let me just go ahead and save this real quick. All right, so let's go ahead and make a copy here and look up looks. Now, for those who don't know what looks is, it's actually a NFT coin, if you will, kind of a competitor to OpenSea. So I'll go ahead and pull it up on CoinMarketCap as well. But pulling up looks, let's see. And this is a Bybit chart here, so a little sporadic there. Let me see if there's anything else. GameCoke says, thank you for your analysis. Hey, no problem, man. Glad I could help you out. Yeah, we'll just use, let me see if, okay, Wobi has a little bit more data, so we'll go off of that. And then, yeah, so for one of y'all who are curious about looks, again, looks rare is the name. It was an airdrop, or if you want to call it an airdrop, actually, it was, you could redeem your tokens, basically depending on how many transactions you had on OpenSea, and it basically calculated, free looks tokens, and I believe I got about 1,200, which is nice. But you can see it had a nice little pump after that release, and it went all the way up actually to near $7. So that was huge. But since then, it's kind of consolidated, but it looks like it may have found support there. So again, they actually looks rare has a lot of good incentives for staking the token. Basically, you can get, call it like APR, APY for the transactions on here. They kind of, give them back to the stakers, which is good to see. So that's a big reason. And they have low fees on there as well to help combat. So a really good competitor to OpenSea. Definitely looksrare.org if you haven't checked it out. Go ahead, I highly recommend it. But going over some TA for this. So again, not a lot of data because it released not too long ago, but I'll just do some quick TA. Big support levels to look out for, and things to watch. So let's see there, and then actually I can see fairly good trend line right about there. Yeah, so cool, more or less. And then I don't even know if you want to call this a trend line here, but possibly right there as well. So let's go on a little smaller time frame so we can actually see things more clearly. So yeah, I'm just going to do this on the 4 hour because we don't have enough data on the daily here. Move this white line or this purple line down a little bit. Let's see, right about there. Okay, so big levels for the looks token. So what I'm looking at right now, again, it did have a nice little bounce here from this support and this trend line support. So if it does break down from this 355 level, I can definitely see us going down to at least this 265 level, right? Because that's kind of where it first found its resistance turn support. So I would look around buying around 265, 270 if it does break this 360 level. But if it doesn't, then it could be buy opportunity for possible retest of this trend line at about $5. So $5 was a big level. It actually retested that multiple times. But again, be careful because you do have some resistance from $5 all the way up to $5.30. So definitely something to watch out for if you're looking at where to take profits at. So that would be my best recommendation. Either wait for a retest of 363, and then from there sell a little bit at $5, or wait for a breakdown of this 360 level and then buy some at around 270. So that would be my analysis there. Looking at the RSI right now on the 4-hour, we can see that it is still oversold, right? So it's at that 42 level. So definitely still some room to the upside. It hasn't broken its EMA line yet. So again, potential for another bullish catalyst there. So we'll go and look at the daily RSI real quick. And yeah, daily RSI hasn't given us much. Maybe the hourly has given us a little bit more. Yeah, so you have the hourly. Again, it's curving downward. Not something you want to see. You want to see the RSI curving upward at least for bullish momentum. But again, something you could look at, could is maybe this little trend line on the RSI here and then possibly retesting it. But I mean, that points down to a retest of at least 360, right? And then potentially a bounce from there if it doesn't go below it. So yeah, that would be my analysis. Just looking at looks for a quick TA perspective. But I mean, hopefully that helps you out. Again, I know it's not much, but with the data we have, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. So that would be my analysis of looks. And Rory says, is Netherlands crypto heaven? Gimme, my cutie little country. I have to look at the tax bracket, but I think Netherlands actually taxes you on crypto. I can look at that real quick to see. But yeah, mindful. If you have any questions about this looks TA, let me know. But it's kind of what I'm seeing right now. So hopefully that helped you out there. Let's see what we can look for. So Netherlands. So yeah, in the Netherlands, there's no capital gains tax. It means that you don't have to pay tax on the actual return. It may also be the case that you don't have to pay anything over the profit because it's tax-free capital. So that's amazing. Yeah, Rory, expect me to come to the Netherlands and maybe set up shop there, and because that's no tax as well. So that's pretty awesome. So yeah, Portugal, Netherlands, you have a lot of places that are actually tax havens, which is nice to see. And Mindful says, "Thank you, brother. It does." Yep. Hey, no problem, man. Glad to help you out there. Yeah, if any of y'all have any other questions before we sign off, stream's been about 45 minutes, so good stream so far. Again, for people that have joined and rejoined, really quick, just do a quick synopsis of everything that we've went over. Again, for tokens we're watching, looking at Rose, Syscoin, Talos, and Defrost Finance, and then looking at also Metis token, maybe a little bit of Magic, and Tethys Finance. And then for Bitcoin, again, waiting for it to either retest this support at about 40,500. If it breaks that, then looking forward to retest support on this trend line breakout of about 33,000 before breaking to the upside. Resistance is going to be at 46,100. S&P, looking for some continued downside. If it can break that 45.30 level, then looking forward to retest that 47.15. If not, looking forward to test downward this next support of about 4,300 for possible breakout to the upside. And then for Ethereum, again, look, its resistance is at 3050. Looking for it to possibly retest its support here near that 2850 level before bouncing to the upside, or breaking from this 3050 level. And its next resistance, it's going to be around that possibly 3300 level I'm looking at. So that's for Ethereum. And then again, we already went over Theta, T-Fuel, and Looks from our members there. Young T says, Discord moves to the Netherlands. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me to see a lot of people moving to the Netherlands and Portugal and all these other tax-free places for crypto. So that'd be a great place to see. And then, yeah, basically news articles we talked about. Again, the Bitcoin family moving to Portugal, tax-free haven. They've been doing really well. And then basically corporate investing more in Bitcoin as a safe haven against inflation and to just, again, combat that and to help create a more long-term viability for their businesses. So hopefully a lot of this helped y'all out. Again, Young T said, CME gap at 40,750 tonight. Interesting level to watch. Oh, yeah, definitely could be interesting level. So again, that 40,750 does coincide pretty closely to our daily support level. So that would not surprise me in the slightest to come back down to 40,750 before bouncing back. But again, this 40,000, call it 600 level is definitely a level I'm watching very closely. If it does close a closed candle below that, potentially going to be looking for shorts from there, right? So never have a bias more towards one side or the other. Always be non-biased when dealing with crypto because, again, this market can change in an instant. I'm not bullish right now. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm still overall bearish. We're still in a downtrend until we can break a lot of these big lines. But this break of this long-term trend line was the first step in me starting to turn bullish here. So definitely something I'm looking out for, and definitely something to watch out as well. So if you don't have any other questions, again, please give the video a like if you liked it. I try to do these live streams, again, every Sunday at 12 CST, 1800 UTC, to help y'all out with either TA, altcoins, news articles, talking about the global markets, etc. So yeah, liking the video would help spread this to the masses. And again, thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't joined the Discord, it's in the description. If you haven't followed me on Twitter at @TheCryptoData, go ahead and follow me on there. I try to post